There's a terrifying moment, one that slips in late at night when the world is still and all distractions dissolve into silence. It's that moment when you realize you've been alive but not truly living. You followed the rules, smiled when you were told, worked when instructed, and somewhere between the routine and the hustle, your spirit fell between the cracks. Time didn't rob your life. You gave it away. Willingly, blindly, tragically. What if I told you there are people, calculated, silent people, who understood this vulnerability in you? People who thrive on your fear of danger, who design systems to keep you submissive, reliant, and numb. What if I told you that your comfort is the cage? That mediocrity was never accidental, but purposefully engineered? That the life you're experiencing isn't yours, it's borrowed, planned, and shortly to expire? This isn't a motivating speech. This is a warning. Because the greatest deception isn't done with words, it's done with squandered time. The most deadly weapon isn't a knife or a pistol. It's a dull existence. And the adversary isn't outside. The silent manipulation. Let's begin with a painful truth. You've been conditioned to squander your life. Conditioned by a system that benefits off your diversions. A world that flourishes when you settle for less. From the minute you were born, you were given a script. Go to school, acquire a job, retire elderly, and then maybe you'll live. You weren't trained to think. You were trained to obey, to comply, to conform. School didn't prepare you to be bold, it taught you to dread errors. Society didn't raise you to question, it raised you to follow. And every day you waste living according to someone else's concept of success is another day taken from the life you were supposed to build. You were trained to pursue security, not freedom. Comfort, not challenge. Approval, not purpose. And that is how lives are squandered. The psychology of regret. Regret is a psychological monster. It doesn't strike when you're busy being ordinary. It waits until you're elderly, too old to go back, too exhausted to start anew. Then, like a bitter whisper, it reminds you of all you might have done. Every risk you didn't take. Every passion you buried. Every lie you told yourself simply to feel okay for one more day. Studies in behavioral psychology demonstrate that individuals don't regret their failures nearly as much as they regret their inactivity. That's the pain of a squandered life. Not what you accomplished, but what you were too terrified to attempt. Not the doors you stepped through, but the ones you gazed at and never opened. You assumed time would wait. It doesn't. Regret is usually louder than fear, but it comes too late to do anything. Your comfort zone is a coffin. You enjoy the familiar, don't you? The same task, the same pals, the same process. You wrap yourself in predictability like a cozy blanket. But let me ask you, how many ambitions have you abandoned merely to keep comfortable? Your comfort zone is not your secure spot. It is your cemetery. Inside it, your potential is suffocating. And the longer you remain, the harder it gets to go. You're not building a life. You're progressively burying it, day by day, excuse upon excuse. The brain, in its rudimentary programming, is programmed to avoid suffering. But progress thrives in suffering. Meaning lives in discomfort. Everything worth living for dwells beyond that zone you refuse to leave. And still, you remain. What? Because pain terrifies you more than mediocrity. You'd rather be numb than risk getting injured. But numbness is not serenity. It is a gradual, terrible deterioration. The lie of tomorrow. Every time you say, "I'll do it later," you give death another inch. Tomorrow is the most enticing lie ever uttered. It whispers false hope to billions and leaves them with nothing. How many individuals have died with their dreams still within them? How many tombstones hold whispered novels, unwritten music, unlived purpose? You believe you have time. But the reality is, you only have today. Tomorrow is not assured. Opportunity does not wait. Your window will close. And when it happens, there's no arguing with time. It doesn't apologize. It doesn't care about your intentions. It just measures activity. And if you keep delaying your life, one day you'll wake up with nothing left to offer. People are watching to see if you'll fold. Here's another terrible truth. There are those who want you to ruin your life. They're not villains with capes. They're colleagues, friends, sometimes even family. Not because they despise you, but because your potential challenges their justifications. When you advance, they're forced to face their own stagnation. When you triumph, their own failures reverberate louder. And thus, they'll delicately push you back into position. Be realistic. Don't get your hopes up. That's not how life works. But here's what they won't say: if you do it, I'll have no excuse for not trying. That's the true reason they want you to play tiny. You're a mirror, and others will attempt to break it if they don't like what they see. Discipline, the weapon of the dangerous. Now let's speak about the one remedy to a squandered life: discipline. Not motivation, not inspiration. Discipline. Motivation diminishes. Feelings change. But discipline is chilly, unforgiving, relentless. And that's why it works. Dark psychology tells us that the most dangerous individuals in the world are not the smartest. They're the most disciplined. The ones who can withstand boredom, embrace suffering, ignore applause. These are the folks who don't simply talk, they execute, day after day, whether they feel like it or not. If you want to reclaim your life, stop waiting to feel ready. Start moving, especially when it's hard. That's how you develop power. That's how you become dangerous. Your excuses are a prison. I don't have time. I'm too old. I'm not good enough. These aren't reasons. They're chains. And you tied them around your own wrists. Every excuse you hold to is a cell in the jail of lost potential. And the worst part? You have the key. You simply won't utilize it. You'd rather be a victim of your tale than the hero. What? Because being a victim absolves you of accountability. It allows you remain stagnant and blame the world. But heroes don't have that privilege. Heroes suffer. Heroes struggle. Heroes risk. If you want to quit squandering your life, you have to destroy your excuses. All of them. Mercilessly. And enter into the combat zone called your calling. Fear is a compass. What you dread the most is frequently the very thing you must accomplish. That's the contradiction. Fear isn't the enemy, it's the compass. It directs you straight toward what matters. Afraid to start the business? Start it. Afraid to speak up? Speak louder. Afraid to be alone? Face the quiet. Fear exposes your bounds, and your boundaries indicate where your life stops. Most individuals live little because they let fear define them. But the truth? Fear is only a test. One you can pass if you wish to. What if you stopped running from it? What if you ran into it? You'd be unrecognizable. You'd be unstoppable. The clock is ticking. As you read this, time is slipping. Seconds are disappearing. And unlike money, attention, or energy, you can never get it back. Tick. That's your dream diminishing. Tick. That's one less breath. Tick. That's one more excuse dying with you. Are you listening now? This isn't about motivation anymore. It's about urgency. You are not promised anything. The only guarantee you have is this now. And if you're not utilizing it to develop something that will outlive you, then you're squandering your life. The final warning. One day you'll look in the mirror and not recognize who you see. Your youth will be gone. Your opportunities expired. And the only thing left will be quiet. The sort that's deafening. The sort that shouts every choice you never took. But there's still time. Not much, but enough. Enough to turn the switch. Enough to defy the script. Enough to live on purpose instead on autopilot. You don't need permission. You need fire. You don't need a new year. You need a new standard. One that demands more. From your habits. From your thoughts. From your soul. Because the reality is you're not terrified of dying. You're frightened of dying without ever having lived. Wake up, or stay dead. This speech isn't designed to console you. It's supposed to challenge you. To smack the sleep out of your eyes. To shake the terror out of your bones. You've been wandering long enough. Don't squander your life on diversions. On fear. On falsehoods. On comfort. Burn for something. Because if you don't pick what your life will be about, someone else will. And I guarantee you their plan won't set you free. It will bury you gently while the world claps for your loyalty. So the option is yours. Live wholeheartedly. Or die slowly. But everything you do, don't waste your life.